Today we're going to be going over the price of uranium, a bunch of news with uranium. We're going to look to the past again, this time to the previous uranium bull market. We're going to look at a lot of good information. We're going to kind of compare it to today's market as well as the overall market, see where we're at. I've got a lot of questions from people, so I'm going to try to answer some of these questions in this video and a lot of very interesting things. So please hit that like and subscribe button below. I want to first show you guys here. This is a spot uranium tracker, and I've been tracking the prices. I went back to the previous uranium bull market that we had. But if you look back here, this is where I really want to show people this seasonality when the reactors start refueling, you get producers coming in. And what I think is going to be overfeeding coming in, especially late fall into the winter, you really saw uranium prices start to run, okay? Last uranium bull market. This is about where we were, about summertime, okay? June, July. And if you look back, we can go to Paladin's annual report from 2006. This is about where it was. Now, uranium really was doing very well. It pretty much didn't have many pullbacks, but if you look at the uranium price in the last few years, we've had some big run-ups, and we're establishing these bases every time. But these big run-ups have always happened when the producers are coming into the market, when the utilities are refueling. That's usually when we've seen this. March, April, and September and October here. Same thing here. March and April, we had that big run. I think it's going to happen again. I've said this many times in my video, but we look back to the past, we've seen that. We've seen Paladin talking about the exact same things we're seeing now. We're seeing this, what they call in this, a new paradigm shift. Okay, sounds like a repeat, right? But if you look at some of the things that were happening then, we're doing a lot bigger things for nuclear on a bigger scale. We're seeing the same thing with China. They were saying 30 new reactors. We're looking at 150 now. The CPI was very, very similar. Today we hit, 9.1? And it's very similar to the early 1970s. So oil did that 400% run in a couple years there, $3 to about $11 during this time. And uranium went from its lowest, adjusted for inflation, to its highest, $220 plus in a few years. So it doesn't need oil to be up. You know, crude's been down a little bit. We don't need that. Uranium is so opaque and it's very crazy. But to see people complain so much about recently in the uranium sector, it's like, look at the overall market. Most every one of these stocks, market caps, is bigger than the entire uranium sector combined. And these stocks just for the year, some of these are down 70 and 80%. And this is people's 401ks. This is massive companies, massive hedge funds. They're doing really, really bad. Now, yes, uranium stocks, we've seen them drop 50% in the last couple months. But if you look at the overall, uranium stocks are doing just as good as these crazy stocks like Tesla that have gone up, 800 to 1,000%. We've seen runs, 1,500%. This was just a couple months ago. Look at this. And we're still 6, 7, 800%. So for people to complain, especially new people coming into the sector just in the last year, you have no room to talk. These stocks are still doing great, okay? If you bought in at this price, I'm sorry. But I've been saying this is going to be crazy volatile. It's going to drop 50%. We've seen this in the previous uranium bull market. It's no different. The price of uranium will continue to go up long term. I think we're going to see this late fall, into the winter, probably in the $55 range and then bounce out by that time. I think $75. A lot of funds are probably selling in on that. And who knows, are they buying uranium stocks? It's very possible. Everything in uranium, all the big stocks, they're looking very similar. Cameco, UEC, still, Energy Fuels. And look, they're very similar to the price of uranium. They're just leverage plays on the price of uranium. Uranium's got to go up. If inflation continues record highs, uranium prices are going to go up. Yes, that the price of uranium in the spot market has gone down, but it's really about those long-term contracts. It's always been about that. It's nice to see record volume in the spot market and seeing it go up to 63, 64 bucks. And the uranium stocks, went up to these 11-year highs, some of them recently. So is it going to happen again? It's very probable. And we do know that the price of uranium will eventually go up when these utilities come in and contract for hundreds of millions of pounds. The prices have to go up. Now, these companies, they're not producing. These uranium producers in America, of course, they're not producing. The price is not high enough. when the price gets higher, they will start to produce. Uranium in America has not really been a thing. It's been very tiny, even in the last uranium bull market. But I really think that we're seeing that renaissance. It's going to go back to the 1970s, and it's going to be very big. Now, a lot of things we had to cover for uranium overall. The news, UEX, they're actually sending out, this is what UEC is going to be buying out. They're sending out these material for the acquisition, for UEC. So that'll be out. They're voting on that, and I really think that's going to be approved. More positive news, we see Denison, their ISL testing was approved for the Phoenix deposit. So UEX, the company that UEC is going to be buying out, bought the JCU assets. Denison loaned them it. So they had 10%, JCU owned 10% of that. So now it's 5% for UEC, aka UEX. They'll own that. So it is good news for all of them. UEC, that's what we were just talking about, to double resources through this UEX acquisition. I don't think people understand how well these UEX assets were with 29 projects there in Canada. And this is really the best location. I was really excited for this last year when I knew they were going to get these JCU assets, but unfortunately the management team was not capable. Okay. But when you have a company like UEC that is very capable with no debt, tons of cash, they can raise a lot of money. They have 5 million pounds of uranium that'll be worth $1 billion when uranium hits $200. It's very positive, and it just puts them in another category, a whole nother level. A couple other things we got to look at is inflation. I want to show you Kazakhstan in a minute, what Kazakhstan inflation is, and that's what we need to really look at, because that's 43% of the world's uranium, and it could have some political unrest very soon if that happens. Now, today, United States 9.1, we knew this. It's very possible we see a somewhat correction, a drop in the next month or so, because the numbers with energy have gone down somewhat. But if you talk to real people out there, you see the prices are continuing to going up. But obviously the way this CPI is measured, it's not right. It's not really going to reflect everything, what's really hurting majority of the people in the world. I think inflation, as Michael J. Burry says, is way higher. We got to look at Kazakhstan, 43% of the world's uranium. Look at this. It's up again, 14.5%. Very hard to stop this. Although prices of energy have gone down, it's very possible this continues to go up. We see political unrest. It's going to get very crazy, especially for uranium. So now I showed you a lot of the stocks that are down in the NASDAQ. And now we'll look over here. Even Disney, 50, almost 50%. Okay. Boeing, 36%. 3M. These are really big companies, really good companies. Intel down 35%. It's pretty much the entire market. My whole outlook on uranium has changed. It's never been more bullish than today. But in the long term, I really don't care about the price in a few years from now, even a year from now. I care about today because I'm mainly cash. I sold a lot of my uranium stocks, pretty much everything in April. I have bought back in, but I do want to say that buying back in some of these, if I would have just held off a little more, I would have got better deals. And my strategy, I'm going to go through that a little bit. My strategy changed when this war happened, as I said before, and I went to mainly day and swing trading uranium stocks. And I was already heavy cash. So I got rid of a lot of my long-term positions, took profits. And what was great about that was my whole outlook on uranium, I was constantly plugged in. There was major catalysts going on. The charts were primed. The overall market was still going down, but I was able to do very well. Okay. And this is not me bragging. This is just me letting you know what my plan was. And I grew my account 62%. Okay. In a few months' time, just a couple months. This was March and pretty much the end of February, March, and April. 62%. Uranium prices, went up to $64 in April. I was day trading almost every single day that the market was open. And in my Discord, you can look back. There's records of it. None of this stuff's been edited. It was live and everything. I was wanting to take as many base hits, small profits as I could. I say small profits, 5 figures. That was the goal. Okay. Because the volatility was insane. How much they would drop and go up. But I knew the thesis. So, I knew what uranium is going to do long term. So I didn't feel like if I was jumping into a stock that it was going to go to zero. Okay. I knew that these uranium stocks were going to be very volatile because there was a lot of volume coming in as well. So I grew my account 62%. I had pretty much 2 bad trades during those whole times. And those 2 bad trades were me trying to establish some longer term positions. And I didn't establish these at their peaks, okay? But the 2 trades on those, one was LEU in around $30, and that stock went down to 17, but it went back to about $33. And that's a 100% run in less than a month and a half. But during that time, I'd bought near the top and I wasn't able to get in at that 17. But if I had stuck to my plan, how I trade, my swing trading, and I would have got out if it went down like I normally had, then I would have got in at $17 likely and rode it back up to that 100% where it was in the 30s and then sold on those profits. And if you guys have been following my channel, UEC was the same thing, went up to about $4.80. I got it under 3 there. And, you know, it was like 50 something $1,000. And I didn't take I was trying to establish a long-term position. I didn't take any gains on that. And that was dumb. So in this market, I'm going to continue to day and swing trade. That's where really the money's at. And when there's that much volatility, I can be happy with, you know, a couple percent. This is not me selling a stock course. It's not me telling you I have the secret. There is a lot of stuff that that would take me weeks to reveal about how I do my research. And it's kind of hard to explain. It's like a professional in a sport. They can't teach you everything and you expect you to be the best at it. It's something that sometimes it's just a gut feeling, and really stock trading simple. You buy it and it either goes up or down. I mean, I guess the stock could be flat, but in this market, it either goes down really hard or goes up. That's really the way I look at it. You don't have to have a billion technical analysis, done on a chart. Like I follow 10 charts. You don't have to, know everything about every company in the whole stock market. It's really that sector. And that's why I've looked at uranium in the past 3 years and, studied as much as I could and try to be plugged into it. So, getting that information really fast, getting that is very, pertinent in trading. So that's what I do. And I'm just letting you guys update you on pretty much what I'm doing. You notice on the channel, if you checked, there is no more Count Fortune visuals. It's just Derek Quick. That's the name of the channel. I'm really wanting to make this very simple, streamlined, but I want to up my content for you guys. And I will be day and swing trading more uranium, but I am in the Discord every single day. That is where I'm going to be day trading and swing trading. I got to stick to what is working, okay? Got to change with the market. Right now, the market has been just crazy volatile, so I'm going to stick to that. So hope you all enjoy this. Be on the lookout for my next documentary. I'm looking to really expand in the overall market, get a lot of eyes on uranium, but to also talk about other things in the market, some very interesting things, and cover things from my perspective. So I hope you guys like the channel. Hit the like and subscribe button below if you're not already subscribed. If you got this far in the video, thank you very much.